Let glory shine. From the ashes I rise. Every scar a story, every tear baptized. This is my freedom. This is my climb. Let glory shine. It's the power inside.
Welcome back to Let Glory Shine. I'm your host, Martha Glory, and I'm excited to be here for yet another episode. And I am in awe and in wonder and in just full gratitude that for today, I will make this show, or we will make this show, an international show because today we're going to Ghana, Africa, and we're going to be speaking with William Plange. And I can't wait for you to hear his story, his testimony, and all what God is doing. It is so closely aligned with the journey that I'm on and the mission that I've have on my heart. And so I can't wait for you guys to meet him. I can't wait for you guys to hear his testimony. And so I'm going to go ahead, without further ado, welcome William Plange to the stage. How are you, William? So glad you're here.
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. It's a pleasure being here, because my what I do aligns perfectly with what you're doing. And so it's humbling to find myself here today.
It is. It's synchronicities for sure, right? Like how we got connected. All of these things are not a surprise to God. That's what I've learned is
Yeah.
that when the time is right, God connects the people that need to be connected to move forward the mission, the vision, for us to be allowed to be the hands and feet, for us to be the light, right, and make the impact that we're called to make. So please tell us about a little bit about your testimony. I got to hear a snippet of it when we met for our coffee chat, but I want you to get into your testimony and how no human is useless found you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, No Human is Useless was birthed out of my own journey of struggle and pain, where many people go through all these things but end up committing suicide. But fortunately for me, God had a plan for me. I believe God actually allowed all those pain and struggle to come my way for me to do what I do right now with No Human is Useless. Now, this is how the story began. I grew up in a community with my grandmom and my mom. My dad wasn't around. But in this community, everybody is going to tell you that you need to go to school, make sure you are first in class, make sure you are top of everybody, because if you do so, your life is going to be beautiful because you're going to land a good job and you're going to get everything that you want to get in life. I think that is happening again. Hold on. So in this community, what everybody was going to tell you was make sure you are first in class, be top of everybody, because when you do so and complete school, you're going to get a good job and your life will be beautiful. You're going to you'll be able to afford anything you want to buy in this life. So I grew up in with that mindset. And during that time, my grandmom had a drinking bar. So what I do is I sell alcoholic beverages. I go to school, come back home, do my homework, sell alcohol. That was my daily routine, was selling alcohol and then going to school. With the back of my mind, doing well in class so that when I complete school, my life was going to be beautiful. So I journeyed through all this and then I completed university. Then I did my national service, hoping that after my national service, I was going to land a good job and then my life begins. Then, quite unfortunate for me, I completed school and there was no job. I was struggling to get a job. Then, either ways, I was also getting these kind of jobs that your salary is too small, that you have to use your salary as transportation back to work. So at the end of the month, there's nothing to save. Sometimes you need to go borrow money to go to work. When your salary comes, you pay your debt, and then you are still in debt. So it was very troubling, and I was getting depressed. Then, of course, I see my friends who I was way better than in class. My friends who were last in class, they were fortunate, they've had good jobs. Some had bought their cars. And anytime I saw them, I felt so bad within because I was the one supposed to get all these things if what society said was true. But it wasn't so, and that is life. Life throws challenges at us, and then it was one of those stuff. So I was just juggling through, trying to fight through to get my way up, my feet standing up, and then it was still not getting, I wasn't getting there. Now, one day, me and my friends, we had a chit chat. We had a group meeting, old classmates getting together to meet. And we were all talking about what we were doing with our life. And then one of these guys asked me, "What are you doing with your life right now?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm still pushing." And he goes like, "Hey, William, you need to get a job because we are all moving." And that thing really hit me so hard because it wasn't as if I was lazy. I was trying my best, but I wasn't getting it. And for you to tell me that really broke my heart. And at the same period, my family also barely noticed me. As a firstborn in our part of the world, you're supposed to support the family, contribute to bills and all of those stuff. But I wasn't doing that because of my lack of employment. So all these things doubled up. It was very chaotic inside of me because I wake up every morning sad within, but on the outside people feel I was okay, but I was really drowning inside. And there was nobody to talk to because nobody understood what depression means. They will tell you that, hey, you're a man, you need to get up, you need to be strong and all of those stuff. So one day I decided to leave it all and I moved from the city to go live in the forest. Now the forest, well, I knew a small family who lived there, so I just called them that, hey, I want to come spend some time with you. For me, I was just moving away because of all this chaos and me getting worried, friends mocking me and all of that. So I wanted to move away from everybody. So I get to this forest, no electricity, no good drinking water. We're drinking from a stream that looked green in color. And animals, every living thing drank from that same stream, right? We live in a small hut, 10 boys, a hut that can contain just two people. We were 10 inside the hut. And it was very troubling. I was getting worried for the first week. But little did I know that God was actually going to meet me in the forest where nobody wants to be. Now, every morning when we wake up like 4 a.m., we need to walk like 4 hours into the deep farms to get food stuff. And that was the daily routine. If you don't follow the boys there, you're going to go hungry because the foods are all in the farm. So we wake up, we go there, and somebody living my life in the city, all my life in the city, this situation was very new to me. I didn't know how to weed, I didn't know how to carry stuff on my head, but I had to do it because everybody is doing it. So it was very troubling. Now, one day I was I was praying right under a tree around 9 p.m. I was praying under a tree that God, is my life always going to be like this? I just want to hear your voice. Please talk to me. I didn't know what I was saying. I was just saying things like, God, I want to hear your voice and all of those stuff. Then I heard a whisper, a female voice whisper in my ear that William, go back to the city and start a business called the Errand Boy. The Errand Boy. That's all I heard. No explanation as to what to do with it. And this thing taught me a lesson that, messages from God, divine messages, almost always come unclear. So people don't listen to it, but it is the perfect message for you. But people don't, because it doesn't come clear until you act on it before it becomes clearer. And that's how it is. But many people have got these messages and had not paid heed to it. They've just left it behind because it didn't make sense to them. But it's a very good message from divinity that we've all missed. So when I heard Errand Boy, I didn't know what to do with it. So 6 months down the line, I came back to the city, got somebody designed a logo for me with my name, Mr. Plange. And I remembered, I actually forgot about the Errand Boy because it was 6 months past. But I remembered it and I was like, hey, you know what? Add this slogan to it, the Errand Boy, to the logo, Mr. Plange. The Errand Boy is my slogan. So they added it and it was beautiful. So I posted it. When I posted it, I got this friend of mine reach out to me that, hey, William, why the errand boy? The errand boy is so childish. You are a full grown man. So why don't you use the errand man? And I'm like, you don't know how this errand boy thing came about. Don't come and use your worldly knowledge to tell me what to do. I trusted that message because I knew it was directly from God. So I maintained the errand boy. I posted it and I said, hey, look, if you're a busy scheduled person and you want somebody to run errands for you, do the groceries for you, just call on me. I'm the errand boy. And within a week, it was so magical. Within a week, I get calls from high profile people, judges, policemen, bankers, accountants, calling me that, hey, William, I saw your post. Can you help me do this round for me? Can you help me pick my kids from school? Can you help me take my clothes to the laundries? And I started making small monies. I started getting contact with high profile people just because I used the errand boy. So I was getting those business running. Now I knew people, high profile people in the community. I knew people I could just call if I need some kind of assistance because of the errand boy. So fast forward, COVID. COVID came up 2019, 2020. And at that time, I still live with my grandmom. My grandmom woke up one day and says, "Hey, William, you need to leave this house because I'm broke. I need to rent your room so I can make money." And I thought it was a joke because my grandmom usually would make such statements and then we just forget about it. I stepped out, came back, and I saw my stuff packed outside the gate. My grandmom had gone to my room to pack all my stuff outside the gate. That, "Hey, William, you need to leave this house." And that point, I felt my whole life had come to an end because at that time I didn't have a stable job. I was just doing the errand, but the errand boy wasn't that lucrative. So my grandma was also a leader in the church. So I decided to go to the church to bring some elders to come and speak to her on my behalf. Now these people came back to my house, talked to my grandma. My grandma said, "No, the church didn't build my house for me. I built my house and I decided to do what to do with it. So my grandson should leave this house." And I felt my whole life had come to an end because I didn't know where to go. So when the church leaders were leaving, one of them called me and said, "William, you're going to be a great person because of what your grandmom is doing to you. Please take heart." And people who go through these kind of situations, they become big in the future. When she said that, I felt she was just saying something to console me. So in my head, I was like, "Please, just let me be. You're not just don't just let me be." So finally, we went to get a wooden structure, a small wooden structure that I had to like squeeze myself to enter that room. Very hot room. I just dumped all my stuff in there, and then I sleep at a corner, just a small portion of the room, and I wake up every morning crying and praying because I thought my whole life had come to an end. Now I jumped on LinkedIn during this moment and I shared a picture of me in the forest, and I posted that, "Hey, if we go through pain and struggles, it doesn't mean that is the end of it. It means that there's something beautiful God has placed inside of us that we've never paid attention to. Now it is time for us to pay attention to it." Because I had to find my first business idea in the forest. Now, mind you, when I said I was just saying this motivational message, I was indoor crying. Nobody knew about this, but on the internet, everybody felt I was okay. I posted it, and this man from the US saw my post and he reached out to me and said, "William, I think you have a beautiful story. I have a group of people who meet. I don't know if you will want to join us and share your story." And I'm like, "Cool, I would like to do it." So we got on a Zoom call, me and about 30 businessmen and women from the US, and I shared my story with them, and they loved it. They loved my journey from how I ended in the forest, how I built the errand boy, and all of those stuff. Now, after sharing my story, I had this mug that I make. I call it the invisible mug. They are black mugs. You don't see anything on it. I can put your image on it, but you don't see it unless hot water goes in there and it triggers it out beautifully. So I brought the mug out, and that day I knew God actually gave me these words because I was just selling the mug raw like that. But when I brought the mug out, I don't know where those words came from. All I remember myself saying was, "Look, this is who we are as human beings. We look black like this when nobody sees our worth, when we are not aware of the beautiful things God has placed inside of us. This is how we look like, black. But sometimes when we go through pain and struggles," then I started pouring the hot water. Sometimes when we go through pain and struggles, it is very hot, but then it goes in there not to kill us, but to reveal the beautiful things that God has placed inside of us. Now, when I said this, I placed the image of the CEO there. So she was online watching me. So the image started popping out slowly. And then she was like, "Wow." Everybody on the call was like, "Wow, William." I'm like, "Yes, this is who we are." Now, if you have one of these mugs, every morning when you're going to have your tea, your hot coffee, it is going to remind you that there's something special inside of you that God has placed inside of you, and it needs to come out for the world to see. This is all I said. The next minute, they started ordering these masks. I started shipping these masks from Ghana to the US. And it was a big deal for me because it's hard for you to get people to ship from Ghana to the US and sell things to them. They started buying these masks. I started making money. They were paying me in dollars. I started making huge profits on this product. And I tell people that, you know what? My grandmom sacked me from home and we were calling her names. We said he's a witch. She doesn't want me to prosper. But I believe that God actually used her to push me out of that room for me to get to this ghetto and meet these people and now sell these marks to them. So I say, always thank your enemies because they actually pave the way to our successes, you know, and God can actually use them and we may see them as enemies. But for my grandmom, today I still say that God actually used her to do that because if she hadn't sacked me, I would still be living with her right now, not figure out what to do with my life, right? So fast forward, I became a member of this group, a group that required me to pay about $70 a month, which I didn't have at that time. They made me a member for free because of my story. They featured me on the US Times Square billboard. Mr. Plange, the Iran boy, I was on US Times Square billboard for 24 hours, you know. And I went back into prayers again. One day I was praying, and this same voice I heard in the forest comes back and say, William, this new group that you are part of, can't you see they all love books? Anytime they are talking, they talk about books. Have you read this book and all of those stuff? Now you have a story. Why don't you put your story in a book and title the book "No Human is Useless"? It just came. No, this voice is so. It comes very faint. If you're not careful, you might miss it. So title it "No Human is Useless." And that was it. I started working on the book, putting my story in a book, and I titled it "No Human is Useless." And to the glory of God, this book is currently 9 times international best-selling in 4 countries, in US, UK, Canada, and Germany. And for me, I had no intention of becoming an author. But when I heard the voice, I trust it so much, I just do it. And this is how far the book has come. So I decided to take my life as a whole movement, a no human is useless movement, go around schools, go to where I get people, and then tell them my story and remind them that regardless of whatever thing they may be going through, they are not useless. They are useful. God has something inside of them, but they are just not paying attention to it. And one thing God did for me, which I'm so grateful right now, is during my journey, anytime I go through pain, I just take the camera and take a picture. I don't know why I was doing that. So I have pictures to everything I'm saying right now, my life in the forest, everything. So when I'm on stage speaking, I show pictures so people can feel the truth and the honesty in the things that I'm saying. So God actually took me through this journey. So one day I was on LinkedIn and then I was always posting motivational messages and helping people overcome depression and all of those stuff. And I got a message from a total stranger I didn't know that, hey, William, we've been following what you're doing and we want to invite you to the UK because we are having a Maiden Awards, the Caribbean Global Awards, and we want you to be part of it. And I was like, really? I thought it was a scam, right? But I did my check and it was right. And for the first time, I sat on a flight. In my life, if somebody had told me you're going to sit on a flight and travel out of Ghana, I would say no because I look nowhere near it. I don't have the money. I don't come from a rich home for that. But it happened. It happened. I went to the UK and I picked up my global award for my global effort in helping people recover from depression. I was on the streets putting my books in libraries. It was all beautiful. And then I came back to Ghana to push all this to push this agenda. So I decided to turn this into a non-profit organization where I go around schools talking to people and then sharing my story. Now, last story I want to end with this whole journey was this year. I mean, last year January, I was busily looking for international speaking gigs, and I knew people who could just snap their fingers and make it happen for me. But when I reached out to them, everybody said, no, William, not this time. William, I can't help you. William, total rejection. All right. And this is why I also say again that God, God is just an amazing, amazing being. We don't understand him. And let me just continue. So I was just looking for I was getting depressed because people were saying no to me. Now one day I was praying again and this same voice, William, if these people are saying no to you, it means it's time for you to start your own event, start your own conference. When I had nothing, I had no money. I had no money to make this thing happen. But this voice says start it. So what I did was I just designed a flyer that hey, no human is useless and no conference is coming. So please be prepared. Wait for it. I was just posting it every day, talking about it, and I set up a crowdfunding platform. Now, when I set up a crowdfunding platform, I get people donating $10, $5, $50, just little monies. So I decided to pray and fast for 21 days. So I don't eat. I eat after 3 p.m. every day. I wake up every morning praying, no water, no food. I eat only after 3 p.m. Now, on the 10th day of the fasting, I woke up and I saw $1,000 in the account from a total stranger. I went to check this man. This man is from Saudi Arabia and I have no connections there. And I said, thank you, sir, for supporting No Human Issues. He said, William, don't thank me. If I don't do this, God is going to punish me. I can't see No Human is useless and just pass by. If I don't do this, Allah, God is going to punish me. William, take this and support this movement. And trust me, I booked a 2,500 seater capacity auditorium, a very top class auditorium in Ghana that many people wouldn't dare go there because it's very expensive, right? And how things happen was so funny. If I go to them, I just walk to you, hey, I'm doing this and I need your help. And if I tell them my story, it reminds them of their story. And they're like, no, William, wow, we need to get on board on this because this is amazing. And they sponsor me. So drinks, money, booking of the auditorium, billboards. I mounted 11 huge billboards in Ghana. And all of it, I didn't spend one penny. I didn't spend one cent on it. And that is how God does it. So I just want to remind people that if you're going through rejection, if you're going through pain and struggles, it means that there's something bigger for you, and you're not meant for that thing that is causing you pain. You just have to give yourself just one more day and allow God to do what He's about doing. All right. So I had this amazing conference that got people flying in all the way from Switzerland and then UK to Ghana to share a stage with me, and it was so amazing. So now in my life, I have learned that rejection, pain, struggle is actually good because it means that something bigger, God has a bigger plan. But many people don't get this. When they go through these things, they end up committing suicide and they leave their blessings behind. And this is why I stand for No Human is Useless, to remind people that when we go through these things, it doesn't mean that that is the end. It means that there's something bigger coming because God, I believe that God hides our blessings in discomfort. And it's very hard for people to get this, but then that is the truth. If you want the best things in life, it is always hidden in uncomfortable situations. So that's how come No Human is Useless came about, and then we are still pushing.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow. I've heard your story or parts of it before, but I was hanging on every word, William,
Mm,
because I can just see the anointing, right? There's so
mm,
many things that I want to go back and I want to address and I want to expand on because there's
yeah.
so much depth into everything that you've shared.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you some questions and I want you to expand on because powerful, just powerful, the
Yeah.
story that you just shared with us. And but God, right? Like
Mm,
none of this is available to us but God. And
yes.
so often when we don't have the capacity to hear that still small voice, we
Yeah.
miss our blessings, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I want to rewind all the way to the very beginning of your story because something that
Mm,
you said really hit me. And
mm,
so often, I my experience was the same, is that I was so sad within. I was drowning in fear. I was drowning in the trauma of my past. But on the outside, I painted on a smile, fake positivity, and every day. So nobody knew the pain I was experiencing. Nobody
Yeah.
knew the deep, aching sadness and
Yeah.
the just, that I was in.
Yeah.
And so I felt that when you shared that. And so then you go to the forest and you are in this very simple life, right?
Mm.
Very simple
Mm.
life. And it reminded me of a story that happened in my own life where I know that when we talked initially, you didn't share it in this part of your story, but in that very simple life, you found joy in the
Mm.
simplicity of life,
Mm.
right? The
Mm. Yeah.
distractions were a lot less. The pain to fit in was a lot less. The
Mm.
comparison to your other friends and students was so much less, right? So
Mm.
you
Yeah.
found a simplicity and a
Yeah.
joy that you had
Yeah.
never experienced before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that very similarly happened to me when I was traveling in Morocco. And we were in the Alps and our car broke down. And we were caravanning with 12 people. And our car breaks down in the middle of nowhere. We end up walking to this very, very small community of little huts, just like you
Mhm.
explained in
Wow.
Morocco. And no television, no cell phone service, no, and there was a creek that ran through this community. That's where
Mhm.
they washed their clothes. That's where they got their water from. That's where, right? And when we
Wow.
walked up to this community, they welcomed 12 of us, Americans, 12 of us
Wow.
into their community. They washed our
Wow.
clothes for 7 days. They cooked us
Wow.
food. We sat
Wow.
around at night around a fire playing music on handmade instruments. And that reminding, they put us all in this, they emptied out a hut for us so that we could
Mm.
sleep on the floor. And all,
Mm.
like they went out of their way
Mm.
to
Mm.
cater and take
Mm.
care of these
Mm.
pure
Mm.
strangers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is humanity.
Yeah.
That
And
is
that is
heart.
healing.
That is healing.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
been over 12 years since that experience, but I hold that so deeply because in that simplicity, I saw so much joy. I saw so much love. I saw so much of what is missing in the
Mm.
American
Mm.
culture.
Mm.
I
Mm. Mm.
saw
Wow.
humans taking care of humans because
Wow.
no human is useless. And so
Wow.
when I heard you share that, it brought me back to that time in the Alps
Wow.
and just or the whatever mountains that is, Andes, Alps. It starts with an
Mhm.
A. I'm not sure, but in that community where they literally emptied out their own place and
Yeah.
gave it to us, these
Yeah.
perfect strangers that were stranded in the mountains, right?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
just all that joy that I felt, all of that, just that love that surrounded us in the
Yeah.
simplicity, no
Mm.
distractions,
Mm.
people
Mm.
taking care of people. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Yeah.
Um,
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Powerful, powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are out of time for this episode, but we are going to continue this conversation next week as well. So
Mm-hmm.
we are going to say goodbye for now, but I can't wait to continue because I want to get in much deeper into more of what you talked about and really explaining what it means to really truly be uncomfortable and how God strips everything away from us in order for us to step into the bigger thing that God has called and put on that purpose and mission on our lives. So we're gonna
Mm.
pick up there with at next week for this episode. But I want to say thank you for being here, William, and we will continue this conversation very soon. Thank
Mm.
you for
Thank
being here
you.
for Let Glory Shine. I will see you
Mm-hmm.
again next week at the same place, same station. Good night.
Let glory shine from the ashes I rise. Every scar a story, every tear baptized. This is my freedom, this is my climb. Let glory shine, it's the power inside. This is your prosperity.